There we go. Thank you. So I'm going to get cracking and keep my eye on the waiting room as well. Got lots to get through in an hour. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but we'll give it a go. So I will be going through IF1, the whole book in an hour, which will be quite interesting. I will record the session. I'm going to record it. We'll put it on our YouTube channel for maybe a week. So if you miss anything or you want to go back, because I've gone through something quite quickly, because I will go at quite a fast pace, you can always go and watch that back. What else? So if you've got any questions, I will stay behind at the back at the end. Just if you want to ask me anything. If everyone that's coming in, if you could go on mute, that'd be great, just so there's no background noise, because there's quite a lot of people here. Cameras, have them on, have them off, do whatever you want with those. I always like to see faces so I don't feel so alone, because I'm always on my own in my office at home. And yeah, so I will get started. If you pop in the chat's open. If you need to ask a question, and that I can pick up at the end, but if you pop in the chat when your IF1 exam is, or when you're thinking about doing it, just so I can get an idea of how close you all are to doing that. Next 2 months, 7%. Okay, cool. Hi, Stefan. Nice to see you again. I've seen you around here before. Okay, let's get started. I may run over 2 o'clock. Don't know yet. We'll see. If I do, like I said, I'm recording this, so please don't worry about missing anything. If you can stay, fantastic. If you can't, that's fine. Catch the end on YouTube. Okay, so first of all, let's think about why we need insurance. Okay, so we have insurance so that we are not going to be out of pocket if something bad happens. Ultimately, that's ultimately the reason that we have it, isn't it? We don't want to be left with a bill. And what that's called is a risk transfer mechanism. Okay, so we transfer the risk from ourselves to an insurer, and that's called a risk transfer mechanism. So the benefits of insurance is that obviously it brings us peace of mind. It brings businesses peace of mind. But there's also lots of economic benefits as well to businesses. So if we think about if businesses didn't have insurance, if something bad happened, they would have to close and not be able to trade. But insurance allows businesses to keep trading, rebuild their premises, keeps the whole industry going and turning over. So there's a number of ways that we use the word risk in insurance, which you might have heard in your office around the industry. So we can use the word risk as the thing that it is that we're insuring. What's the risk? Or it could be just a possibility of an unfortunate occurrence or doubt concerning a situation, unpredictability, the chance of a loss. But with risk, there could also be a chance of a gain as well. So that's what we see risk as meaning. We might hear it used a few different ways in the industry. And when we consider risk, an insurer or an underwriter, they're going to look at its components. So what is it that could occur? So is it theft? Is it fire? These, are perils and hazards, which you might have read about in the book. What's the probability that it's going to happen? What's the likelihood? And if it does happen, how bad is it going to be? What are the consequences? So insurers will look at the frequency and severity of a risk. So, for example, with windscreen claims, the frequency and severity of those. So they happen all the time, but when they do happen, they're not very bad. So it's high frequency, low severity. And underwriters will look at that to figure out, what they're going to charge for a premium. And then when we move on now to categories, we can categorize risks in insurance. So we have financial and non-financial, which are the couple that I'm going to look at first. So a financial risk, for something to be insurable, it has to be measurable in financial terms. So things like damage to a property or theft of belongings, they can be measured financially. We can put a price on that. Whereas non-financial risk is what it says on the tin. It's where the outcome can't be measured financially. So this could be the loss of enjoyment of a holiday. You can't claim for that, because how can we measure that? How can we put a price on how much we've not enjoyed our holiday? And then we've got pure and speculative. So a pure risk is what we typically insure. It's where there's only a chance of a loss, but not of a gain. The best that we can achieve in a pure risk situation is to break even. So if we think about, I drive from my house to the supermarket, the best that can happen is that I get there in one piece. I don't have an accident, nobody drives into me, the car doesn't break down, I don't get a chip in the windscreen. That's the best possible outcome for me. Whereas the opposite of that is a speculative risk. So have you heard the phrase, you can't speculate to accumulate? That's how I sort of remember it. These are uninsurable risks. So it's associated with gambling. So with a speculative risk, you can lose, you can break even, but you might also be able to make a gain. So this could be like, I want to insure myself against my investments not doing very well, but they might do really well and you're going to come out better off. It's not something that we can really insure. And then finally, we've got particular and fundamental. So a particular risk is insurable because it's localized in its cause and its effect. It only affects a certain area. So like a car accident will only affect the vehicles and people directly in that area of the accident. Or if there's a fire on a retail park, for example, we can kind of figure out that if there's a fire in Argos, it might go to Boots next door, but it might not go any further than that. We can see that it's localized in its area. Whereas a fundamental risk is uninsurable because this affects a large area, a large group of people, and the effects are really widespread. And it's outside of anybody's control as well. Nobody can control what happens. So this might be things arising from social, economic, or political causes, or natural causes. So things like war, earthquake, famine, and very widespread and uncontrollable. To fund it would be fundamental. Just a way to remember it. So the basic principle of insurance, lastly here, the pooling of risk, is that the losses of the few are paid for by the contributions of the many. So we all pay premiums, and I think of like a swimming pool full of money. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So that's the common pool. All the premiums go into this pool, and we want to make sure that it's full up. And any claims that happen are paid out of that pool to whoever needs it. Does everybody pay the same premium? No. Everybody pays an equitable premium. So what that means is that it's fair. So it's only fair that somebody with a really bad driving history pays a little bit more than somebody with a very good, clean driving history, because they're more likely to be taking money out of that pool. So they should be putting more in. Yeah. Okay. So next in chapter 1, we've got some information about risk management. So commercial businesses, even insurance companies and brokers themselves, manage their risks. So they will look at trying to reduce the potential of losses by managing the hazards in the business. So what that does is it gives shareholders more confidence, and it also helps companies to maybe reduce what insurance that they might need. If they can totally eliminate some risks, then it's better for them from an insurance perspective. So risk management, first of all, starts with the identification. So we identify the threats that exist and the ones that may exist in the future as well.